Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the DJ and Brandon Show. I'm Captain Logan, and it's time to ask my buddies DJ and Brandon all sorts of random questions, at least for a little while. No, it's episode 99, you guys, of the Geeks Without Pants show. No, the Captain Logan show.
That's later tonight.
Can you believe we are all... So stay tuned for that, patrons. It's going to be great. It's going to be exactly like this, except we'll just talk about the fact that we're not wearing pants more than we're talking about it right now. I am, once again, Captain Logan, my wonderful producer and chat moderator, DJ Martinez, across the way there, and sitting right next to me, the violin god, Brandon Grimm. We are... Well, just look at that face! That's what his driver's license picture looks like.
No, it looks a fair sight better than that, let me tell you.
I thought you were going to say it looks a little worse, honestly. I wish I'd done that for my driver's license picture. How's everybody doing? How is quarantine week 155 for everybody? No, things are getting interesting. We got a lot of places in the country and the world now that are beginning to open. Everything opening at different times and in different ways, and it is getting more complicated to live than easier now that it's like you have more access to certain things, but at the same time it's hard to know what all the rules are. So I'd rather just stay home still. And it seems like it's, safer anyway, but whatever. We'll see how things go in the next, in the coming weeks and months. DJ and I just found out that Power Morphicon got canceled. We are late to the party on this. Apparently that was news a couple of weeks ago, but DJ, I just thought it was going to take them longer to decide, so I wasn't keeping up with their website or anything. But they had already postponed it right at the end of April, and it is June of next year. We got to wait that long, DJ. So I had to cancel plane tickets and everything. It sucks. It's kind of sad we're not going to be able to do that. But at least we know. At least we don't have to get into September going, okay, is there going to be a resurgence of the virus? Are we still going to be able to go? So, at least we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, well. Eventually. Someday. That's just going to be like our goal forever. It's just going to never happen.
Just keep moving that post.
My and DJ's goal is to get to Morphicon. You'd think we'd want to set our sights higher, but it's gotten harder than you would have thought. And I've even been before. But I'm glad I got to see you in person and hang out with you last year, though, DJ, because if we hadn't done that, it would be like we're just trying to figure out how to ever meet in person.
Yeah. We could film a documentary about it. It'd be great.
Documentary about not being able to get together. Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
The Geekvolution quarantine documentary.
Guys, for the first several weeks, for the first several minutes of the show, what I'd like to do.
This show's gonna last weeks.
Yeah, it's the 48-week stream. We begin right now.
Oh my!
It's gonna be in a number of videos.
It's almost a year.
So. Tonight, I want to have you guys ask Brandon and DJ questions for a little bit, because these guys don't ever get anything specifically directed to them all that often, and Brandon's not here all the time. He's been here a lot more lately because he hasn't had as much to do with the quarantine. So he just calls me before shows and goes, hey, can I come over? And I'm like, sure. So this is what we do together. My job. That's what Brandon and I do for fun together is my job.
I'm an intern.
Yeah, but you don't actually have a job. You just show up.
An outturn.
It's not even anything specific you're supposed to do. But we thought it would be fun for episode 99 of the Captain Logan Show to make some of the show not about me as much. So I'm going to field questions as I see them. I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff right away. I was trying to compile questions, and I got one for Brandon and DJ. So you guys throw out some more stuff for these guys so that they don't cry and quit on me.
We're counting on you to donate your questions for this fund drive. Callers are on the line now.
And I'll segue from that to say, as always, if you want to make sure that your question or your comments get read on air, you can leave a super chat for any for any of us. But of course, it'll be a regular Ask Me Anything or Everything, as it says on the screen, after we talk to DJ and Brandon a little bit. And then, guys, next week, the big whopping 100th episode of the Captain Logan Show. DJ, I'm kicking around something crazy. You want to hear? I'm just gonna ignore it. It's fine. Whatever. I'm kind of innocuous to it at this point.
That's the 100th episode. Is Cap just telling how much he loves this cup for an hour?
No, it's gonna be me making out with that cup for an hour. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh. I'm just gonna kiss her for an hour. That's my whole plan. Yeah, mwah! Yeah. No, you know what? I'm with it now. I'm with it now. That is the most attractive cup. Anyway, After Dark is later, you guys. No, that'll be the 100th episode of After Dark. Just me making out with a cup for an hour. That's what we'll do. No, I just have started picturing in my head DJ drinking out of something with pigtails forevermore. That's all I see now is DJ with a beverage that has pigtails on it.
That's the sequel. That's in the sequel to his book.
So now you need to collect. You need to start collecting cups and mugs that have pigtails on them. Just get a collection.
That is the most specific. That's the hardest thing to keyword search for. How do you make sure you can find that? Like characters with pigtails
Etsy.
that then have the pigtail cup.
You got Pippi Longstocking.
Etsy. Pippi Longstocking.
Pippi Venti stocking cup or something, and like Pepper Ann, like some sort of Pepper Ann
Longstocking has
cup.
braids though. Does that count as pigtails? Are we opening it up, or is it exclusively pigtails?
See.
Yeah, I think you start with Shirley Temple or something, right?
I don't know. That seems like a very specific. I don't even know.
That sounds like a harder cup to get.
Pigtail
and that might not even be a cup. That might just be like glasses. Anyway, I want to say we're off topic. There hasn't even been a topic yet. So, yeah. So I'll tell you the crazy thing that I'm considering, DJ. And I don't know if we would make this a full-on 2-hour show or if we would be crazy enough to attempt to double our record in 1 hour. But I want to do a 100-question rapid-fire show.
Oh my goodness!
For 100.
You're gonna have to step it up, pal.
Yeah, I am. It's gonna be a whole lot of brevity, and you guys not getting everything you want from me, probably, as I imagine what that show's gonna be. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna attempt next week, and I still have to decide if we're gonna go for 2 hours for that for sure, or attempt a 100-question show in 1 hour.
Can you call it the quest for questions?
I don't know if I'm crazy enough to do that, or if it's even possible.
Probably not, but we'll try anything once.
We'll try anything once.
It's the quest for questions.
Yeah. Probably not going to call it, though. Question Quest is better than Quest.
Question Quest.
It's just a little too long. I like Question Quest, though. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Or you could, like, capitalize Quest and then just put ION at the end of it. Yeah, that's
I like
question.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The quarantine question quest.
Well, I mean, now it's just getting out of hand. Yeah. Why is it that every episode of the Captain Logan Show is just a business meeting of how to do things on the channel? You guys would not believe the sheer like sometimes people are like, hey Cap, how do you make decisions on the channel? Like how does
we do a video?
How does that whole thing? It's like, well, if you watch everything, you've seen it all happen. You've seen every time an idea has struck me.
You've seen the idea, then
on
you
camera.
see the fruition of said idea, then you see the new ideas in that fruition.
Yeah. Although not every time. I wish Swanyear had happened on camera, though. I really do.
Oh man.
I could have been recording that.
Now that Psycho Reviewer has said that, I kind of want it to be the QQQQ, like the SSSS, the quintessential quarantine question quest.
Oh, God. And I thought Super Secret Superhero Screen Society was hard to say, and it wasn't until you said that, and now I can't even do the SSSS anymore. Hi, Jason. I didn't even realize you were watching, buddy.
I really like where we've gotten with this Q thing.
Yeah. No, we've wasted a lot of time, so you guys don't have to necessarily answer anything. No, I'm gonna go to some questions for you guys here in a second. I want to mention that we are doing a new episode of Captain Logan After Dark right after this. Finally, we haven't had one in a few weeks because I've been recovering from surgery because I apparently had kidney cancer and had to get that out of me, and now I'm good. Now I'm like 99%. I'm real well recovered. I'm in good shape now. If you saw that first show after I came back, you might have wondered if I should have waited a week, but I'm in really good shape now, and we're gonna have a really fun Captain Logan show after this. Gonna bring back karaoke. Got a whole bunch of silly fun things to do with you.
After the questions, it's gonna be really good.
After the questions, yeah, right. Well, that'll be good too, though. And if you're not currently a patron, you can become one at patreon.com/Keitholution. Just the $2 tier will allow you access to that live show, and of course, you can watch it after the fact if you can't be here. If you have like a life and you got to get up early in the morning and you don't want to stay up late after dark with us. Okay,
I have a
$2.
life and I have to get up early in the morning.
Well,
I'll be here.
That sounds like irresponsible behavior.
Oh man, I was up till 3:15 last night, 3 a.m. and then my alarm goes off at 5. I stayed it since my commute to work is I roll out of bed and sit in my computer chair. I get out of bed at 6:28 to start work at 6:30.
I mean, if you're too tired, I'll do it all by myself, man.
Oh, I'm
all
not
by
too
my
tired.
lonesome. John Ty, $2 super chat. Let's just get right into it. DJ and Brandon, is life like a box of chocolates?
I plan a lot of things, so I know what's coming. So maybe not in that sense, but I do a lot of I do actually have a lot of spontaneity in my life. For instance, like as Kat mentioned earlier, sometimes I can ask him, "Hey, what are you up to?" Like, I got nothing going on. You want to do something? Let's do something. Or sometimes, like, I love to drive, so I'll just go out on, like, country roads and just drive as far down one road as I can. It's taken me, like, 60 miles one time down all of 95th Street, and visit places I've never seen before. So, yes, life is like a box of chocolates.
But even if you don't plan for things, you never know what's going to happen.
That's true.
Like, it still applies even if you're kind of meticulous about things and you don't like surprises, right?
Right.
Life might feel more like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get for people who don't like surprises. What do you think, DJ?
I concur. I have not seen that movie, but I do know that quote. And I agree with it, I guess. I don't know. Never really thought about it.
I thought he was gonna go even farther and be like, "Look, I've never seen the movie. I've never sat on a park bench. I don't have any frame of reference for this."
That's a Robert Zemeckis film, right?
I think did Zemeckis make that?
It's either Zemeckis or Gale. It's one of the two.
Okay. I don't remember. And I haven't seen that since I was a kid. Rohith Dahar, hey DJ and Brandon, who are your guys' favorite superheroes? Brandon only knows about like 3 superheroes.
No, that's not
He's
true.
only heard of 3 superheroes
That's not
in his
true.
whole
Well,
life.
I really like Ben Grimm just because of his name. I mean, he's kind of a cool rock dude, but like, he's got a good name. I will say, you know. But also, you know, I was always drawn because of my name. I was always drawn more to fairy tales. So that's you probably don't know this, Cap. That's one of the reasons why I was never really drawn into the superhero thing.
No, you've told me that. He's also a big fairy tale fan.
I love fairy tales, man.
Yeah, awesome. When I go to baby showers and things, I always get the really nice leather bound complete Grimm's fairy tales, and I write a note in there to the kid and sign it, and that's always a good time at baby showers. Yes, that one. I love it.
That was weird.
It's great.
Oh, goodness. It's a heavy book.
I think we all know DJs, but you can elaborate and talk about that if you want to.
Yeah, I like Spider-Man. I've always liked Spider-Man. I grew up on the 90s show, and I used to read some comics. I haven't read a ton. I read all of Ultimate back in the day. Grew up with that. Just really like his power set. I was always really like agile and into flips and stuff and martial arts, and he was always jumping around and flexible and stuff. So I like his power set. I like the character. He's awesome. Spider-Man.
Tell your friends.
I recommend it.
So, quick plug, Eric and I are bringing back the Ultimate Spider-Man review soon, and by we're bringing them back, I mean we have like 5 recorded, and I just have not edited them. There were a couple recorded back from the old place that I still haven't posted, and so I'm thinking about making like a whole week of those, where that's just all I put out, mostly for a week. I don't know yet, but those will start coming here pretty soon. I've just got to start getting those edited. I just haven't had easy slots for them, and they take a little bit of time to edit, so... I got behind on that, but Eric and I actually just shot another one last night, and we're up through, I think the mid-80s numbers for Ultimate, so we've volume 14 or 15. We're pretty far in now, so we haven't even posted Hollywood yet. Maybe even the one before Hollywood.
That's good stuff.
Maybe even the one before that. I can't remember, honestly. I'm not sure.
What did you think about their take on him? I guess we could talk about that. I'll find out.
Their take on what?
On Craven.
Oh, yeah, I didn't like that.
It's so different.
Yeah. Well, it's not just different. He's just kind of a joke.
Yeah, he's a joke. Just like Shocker is in that.
Yeah, but the difference is
characters.
Shocker doesn't have, like, one of the most tragic, like, pathos-ridden stories in Spider-Man. Like, you're not going to hurt as many people's feelings with that, with Shocker. Not that it bugged me or anything. He was just kind of lame.
Yeah.
It sort of screamed like Bendis doesn't really want to do this character. Or maybe he thought it was a really good idea and then it just didn't really work out. Because Bendis is not great with a lot of supervillains. Eric and I talk about this all the time, but Bendis is really good at like street-level, not costume villains. But as soon as you put a costume on a villain, like he gets real generic or convoluted or both. He's just not a villain guy, Bendis.
Yeah.
Blue Dragon 5, I'm going to field this to DJ because Brandon has not seen a whole lot of my work because he doesn't actually really care. What is your favorite and least favorite superhero rewind, DJ?
Oh, putting me on the spot. Goodness.
I'm not asking the questions, man.
Favorite superhero rewind? Probably, probably one of the ones that you just really hated. And that I also agreed with, because I don't like the ones that you hate and I don't agree with. I don't know, man. That's hard. I used to go through rewinds a lot when I was in college. I used to listen to them when I was in school, but or when I was working, but I haven't gone back in a while.
Now he knows me, and it's just not as much fun.
It's a little weird.
See, that's why I don't watch a lot of things, because I get to talk to him about it in person, honestly. We've had the discussion before the discussion happens, or after.
I don't know, man. You and I don't really talk superhero movies all that much.
No, that's true. That's true, not in superhero movies. Although I have seen
That's what we're talking about.
Dark Knight Rises.
You don't even know that Superhero Rewind is about superhero movies?
That is not true. I definitely knew that.
I'll say your Watchmen one was my favorite. That was actually the one that I picked to get on DVD you sent us when I joined the Geeks United Club. That one was really cool and gave me a lot of perspective on that movie, because I also love that movie. And least favorite, I don't know. I haven't really disliked one of them.
I killed myself trying to get that done in one day, that Watchmen review. That was ridiculous.
Oh, man.
I started writing that at 10 in the morning, and I finished at 7 or 8, and then audio recorded. And then started editing it, and I was trying to get it out before midnight, right? And then I found out that day that I had a copyright strike, and back then, when that would happen, they would limit the number of minutes you could upload, which is the reason that review is posted in 5 or 6 parts and originally. I've reposted it now altogether. But what I was doing that night, DJ, was I would edit 15 minutes of it, or 10, I can't remember how I did. I think it was 15. And then I would post it, and then I'm editing the next section as the first one is uploading. And I did that all night until I got it done. Yeah, it was crazy.
Jeez. So you stayed up all night. Wow. Yeah, I can't think of a worst. I don't know. I'm not just trying to save his feelings. I can't think of one. I guess he
wouldn't do that now.
Save anybody's feelings.
He might yours, but not mine.
I guess just for a cop out, I'll say the first Ninja Turtles, because even you didn't like that one and you made another one, so it was just too short. Obviously, we all know. But it was
too short, and I don't agree with things I said in that, or it's more nuanced than that. Yeah, some of those early reviews, I mean, I could throw out some reviews that I don't like, but I'm not going to. Anyway, thanks for that, DJ. Carl Maxey, Brandon, what are your thoughts of if pre-crime really existed in real life?
Oh, man. So, okay, yes. If pre-crime really existed, first of all, would it operate the same way? That's one thing I've thought about. Could we take some of these people that have like pseudo ESP in today's world? I'm not talking about I can't think of her name at the moment. Sylvia, what was her name? Miss Sylvia from California. She's not around anymore. Anyway, if we could take some of these people and really hook them up to machines and kind of see what they're seeing. It's very murky water, because the movie addresses it really well. I feel like if we had this in real life, there would be people crying absolute foul that they did not actually commit crimes, and intent to commit a crime is only in specific circumstances. It depends on how far you get, and what you're going to do. If the thing didn't actually happen, you can't be tried for the thing having happened.
A lot of time with fictional pre-crime and stories that do that, you're taking people to prison who haven't even thought to do it yet.
Right.
It's well before they would have even had the notion. They're not, how I always say, we're never the same person from day to day. They're not anything like that person yet.
Exactly.
But then that existential interesting thing of, but are they, because they're capable of it. There's that.
So that's another thing is that parallels in real life already when we put people in in incarceration manipulation through the justice system that weren't necessarily like maybe they weren't that guy. They got the wrong guy, and they put a good guy in prison, and he comes out just meaner than heck.
Yeah,
that type of thing.
Then they created a criminal. Maybe.
Exactly. So in this case, like that's another ethical quandary for do you arrest them and give them that punishment, or do you get to them and teach them differently so that it doesn't happen? Because you could theoretically at that point get to them and say, hey, we're not going to incarcerate you from this crime. We're going to just kind of not infiltrate your life, but maybe they don't even know that the people are there to kind of steer them in the right direction. Maybe it's kind of like an undercover unit.
It'd be like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And that would be like maybe the most ethical way to handle
nudge you a different direction.
Even though, because I mean, what I'm calling the more ethical way to do it is spying.
Well,
but
not
it's
exactly
kind of
like
the more ethical way to do it.
You have people. Well, it kind of is. Yeah,
It kind of
you
is.
have people that are sent out by the agency to kind of get into your life, become your friend, and maybe nudge you away from what would have happened had you done the thing. And you can keep people out of prison.
And you'd be more
way.
likely to solve more crimes that way, unless you had the sort of time travel where
you're not just
you
solving
can't
crime.
actually like stop a thing from happening.
Well, this
you know
isn't
what I mean?
time travel though. In the sense though, because it's just knowing about something beforehand. It's
Well,
not
I know.
necessarily coming back from the place where it happened.
Yeah, yes, I know, but it still would depend on how your quantum theory works. It would depend on how whether you're dealing with linear time or not.
Certainly.
Because even not traveling physically through time, there are a lot of fictional sci-fi universes where we'll do this scenario where you get that information from the future, and no matter what you do to try to fix it, it's still going to happen.
Yeah.
So
that is a point.
if you did so you would just have to figure out what the rules of it were, because if you get that information from the future, then that means that at least information can travel through time. So now we have to deal with quantum theory. So if you had, say, like 100 instances where no matter what the undercover agents did, they could not prevent a crime from happening,
Yeah, you'd have
then
to
at
change
that
up your
point
strategy.
you'd have to do it differently.
So this is fascinating. This would make for a fascinating movie, because in movies like this, we start with the conceit that this is already a thing.
Yeah.
What if we had a movie where it shows we figured out a thing, let's figure out how to make it work?
Yeah, that's interesting. Where
Yeah.
like it's the beginning of like a new federal department or something.
Yeah, like a scientist. You enter a scientist on a lab, and he's like fiddling with some electronics, and all of a sudden, portal opens, and he didn't know that was going to happen, and he can see a brief vision of like somebody stabbing somebody, and he knows
how
that.
am I
person.
gonna stop that from happening?
Right? He's like, oh my god. Like,
When somebody he knows.
yeah, and he sees like a calendar on the wall, and he realizes this is in the past. Or
It's like,
in
well,
the
that guy
future.
would never do that, and then he finds out later, oh, somebody murdered his dog. Maybe he would do that.
Right.
If somebody murdered his dog and stole his car. See, then maybe.
So in the real world, getting back to the question at hand, though, in the real world, this is how it would happen. You'd have to have some sort of trial and error to figure out if you could actually work with this technology,
Right, of course.
and figure out what you can do with it. So,
But I really appreciate that you brought up the more nuanced angle of is there some kind of midpoint where you can solve it without having to treat that person as a criminal? So
Yeah.
you're not saying like, you are the person who did this, I'm going to punish you. You're saying,
you were
let's
capable
not
of this.
let's not be judgmental. Let's just give this person the chance. And I think there are
until
there
the
are
point where it
stories
would happen.
where we do try to do that sometimes, but they're, like you said, usually in a universe where you still do incarcerate people for doing a thing they're going to do later.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not watched a whole lot of these. What is the main movie that does that? I can't even think of it
Minority
right now.
Report.
Minority Report. Yeah. And I didn't watch that TV show that got canceled.
I
real
didn't
quick,
see the
but
TV show either, but
I was
I
curious
love
about
that
it.
movie, and I really appreciate this
Well,
question.
I've never talked about it on camera, and I haven't watched it in a long time. Somebody requested it on Patreon, so you ought to come over and watch it with me
let's
when
do
we do
that.
that. And you're welcome to be on that video if you want to. I usually do those by myself, but you're welcome to be there with me if you like that movie.
Yes.
But what I was going to say a minute ago is, before you brought up that really good point, was it's sort of that Winter Soldier question of, do you let bad things happen or do you try to prevent them? And then that's the kind of freedom versus security question. But
And also the question of...
but the idea that there might be something in the middle is a really good one.
Also, there's the question. This is one of the things that you'd have to trial and error, because does your interference be the thing that ends up causing the thing to happen, which to your point would be the loop. Where
Sure.
you can't change the
if it's a
future.
closed loop, yeah,
Right.
then you have that
like
problem.
you found out you could do this, and you're like, oh my god, let's use this technology, but it turns out that the technology you're using is the thing that caused that thing you saw to happen in the first place. Then you might feel really bad. You could get in trouble at that point.
Yeah.
The more you describe this, Brandon, the more it sounds like the TV show That's So Raven.
What?
It's exactly what it is. She sees something in the future, she tries to stop it, and she causes it to happen.
She really?
Every episode.
Is it every time? At some point, you'd be like, I should probably rethink my strategy. I didn't know that's what that show was about.
Yeah, she's psychic. She can see the future for like
Do you,
3
She
seconds.
sounds like an idiot.
did you ever see the show Early Edition?
Disney Channel show.
I heard about that
It's
show.
a little bit like that now that I think about it.
There are a lot of shows like that with somebody that has powers either to see the future or to talk to dead people or both. We do that a lot. Like both of them.
I liked that show, Early Edition.
DJ, let's go
Yes,
ahead
sir.
and start getting into some regular questions, shall we? And obviously, if you guys still want to ask Brandon and DJ things, then you can always do that. I just wanted to really put the spotlight on these guys. But more Brandon and DJ questions, please, throughout the show if you want to do that. But we'll start taking some Captain Logan questions as well. We have, let's see. Oh, wow, we're already 25 minutes into the show. So another 35 minutes of Q&A for you, and then we'll take a break and come back to Patreon. And come check it out, because it's going to be really fun and silly tonight. DJ, let's get some questions, buddy.
All right. We got a lot of super chats stacking up. So, One and Only Productions gives us a super chat for all of us. Says, what is a guilty pleasure movie of each of yours?
A guilty pleasure. Like movie or just anything?
Guilty pleasure movie.
Oh, movie. I'm sorry. I didn't hear that part. Okay.
It's a good question.
I mean, Brandon, I hate to say it, buddy, but you like a lot of really bad movies. I feel like
I know.
I feel like this should be easier for you. If we're asking just Brandon, we should get his top 10, to be honest with you. But
We're trying to come up with
I've seen so many movies with Brandon where I'm like, and it's like, he didn't hate that new Men in Black movie, and that made my top 10 worst of the decade list.
Yeah, that's true.
So-
although I like it less now than I originally did, but it's one of my.
I knew it would only take time, like 5 minutes.
I guess I'm gonna include a so bad I think it's good type of movie too. Like there's Thanksgiving is a movie that I
You
just.
bring that up all the time.
Yeah, it's
Do you realize that?
It's so
You know how
great.
often you say Thanksgiving on the show?
We should make a
Velocipaster wasn't
top
that
10
great.
of like
No, it wasn't.
fun name movies like Velocipaster and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
There's got to be a bunch of those. Sounds like you watch a bunch of those.
I need to see some more of those actually. There's a couple. I'm drawing a blank on a couple names from Mystery Science Theater that I like to go back to.
Well, I can go while you think.
Yeah, go ahead, DJ.
Okay. Well, this is probably going to make Cap unfriend me and kick me off the show right away. But because we both know that we both love the film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that I don't hate the reboot.
Oh, really? That is just cynical as all
never
get
saw
out,
the
man.
reboot.
That is awful. Okay. Well, I mean, enjoy what you enjoy, but I don't get that.
So the reason why is, you know how when we're kids and we always watch like a movie a bazillion times? That was my brother, my youngest brother. There's 2 movies that he watched every single day for like a year. And the first one was Cars, which is kind of why I love Cars so much. But I don't think that's a bad movie. And then
It's not.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, he watched a million times. And so I just like know that whole movie by heart because we used to watch it with him all the time.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, and I mean, I probably have stuff like that. I'm honestly blanking on this. Like, I don't know. I talk about all the same stuff so much that when I get a question like this, I'm like, say something you haven't said before, and then my mind just completely goes dark. But let me suggest that if you had been an adult, like in college, like I was when that movie came out, you wouldn't have liked it.
Yeah, and I wasn't as into the original as I am now.
Oh, sure.
I had seen it as a kid, but I kind of knew that one better than the original for a while, and then I started watching the original more as I got older.
I mean, that's an interesting perspective, certainly.
Yeah.
I'll throw in Independence Day. I guess that's one. Roland Emmerich type stuff, and even some Michael Bay stuff here and there. Like, I don't hate Transformers 4. I'm supposed to, but I don't. I mean, it's not good, but I enjoyed it when I saw it. I got bored in the last 45 minutes probably, and that probably sounds like a long chunk of that movie. But remember how long the Transformers movies are. It's not good, but it was more fun than I expected. And yeah, so whatever. That's one. I mean, there's probably a bunch of other things I could throw out, but there's a couple things.
Yeah, there's a couple.
I'm gonna say epic movie. I actually,
Oh God.
I really
interesting.
I found that absolutely kind of hilarious. So
epic movie. Oh yeah.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the animated movie Epic. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
No, epic movie. I enjoyed that on some level for I don't know why, but I do go back to it every once in a while.
I
I like the scary movies too, but I don't feel like that's so, you know.
I can watch the Super Mario movie. I
Cool.
can. You know, there's stuff. We could do a whole show on this, and they would just keep coming to me. But we probably got to move on. Go ahead, DJ.
No, that's fine. I was gonna say,
Superman 4 is a guilty pleasure for me. I enjoy watching that.
Guilty pleasure for me is the second Pirates movie. I know everyone hates those, but that one is super fun. There's just like some good sword fights and crazy.
Now that you say that, I have exactly the same thing with Matrix Reloaded, and that's because they're exactly the same movie. If you go look at the Pirates movies, their sequels, because that was the same kind of situation where it's like we weren't really thinking about making sequels, but it was a lot more popular than we thought it would be, so we kind of forced it in. The difference, of course, is you could imagine there being sequels to that in a way. You'd have to change the nature of the universe to make sequels to Pirates. But it was the same sort of situation where when you got the sequels, they made all the same mistakes that Matrix did. It's really funny. If you ever finally sit down and watch Reloaded and Revolutions, you'll be like, oh, it's the Pirate sequels.
I almost said Pirates of the Caribbean,
it's
the
crazy.
First one. I do enjoy that movie quite a bit.
But yeah, Reloaded is my big one. I should have mentioned that earlier. That's my big guilty pleasure. I watch that like once a year. It's not good, but I really enjoy it.
Cool. Well, I'm glad I said that then.
Oh, and of course, Jurassic House, but that's the obligatory response.
But you don't feel guilty about that at all.
No, it's guilty pleasure in the sense that I know it's not good, but that's why I watch it. And also, I'm never being sarcastic when I say that. It's not like I've watched that movie once, but I just keep talking about it and like I'm talking it up. Oh no, I watch that on a regular basis. Okay, go ahead, DJ.
All right. T-Edge1 gives us a super chat. He says, I recently accidentally bought new Joy-Cons for my Switch from the UK. Have you guys ever bought something from a different country by mistake? Wait, what? I need more information.
I thought you meant, yeah, I don't even know what that means. Like, what's the problem with that?
Well,
are they
compatible?
I wouldn't. I didn't realize the controllers were different. Okay.
You may have you may have one that's specific to a region or something like that.
I wouldn't think controllers would be specific to a region.
I've done that with a DVD before. I got a DVD that wouldn't play because
Well,
it was
yeah.
like a different region.
Yeah, sure. But other hardware, the controllers though, I've never heard of that. I would think that they would be exactly the same hardware. I didn't know that.
Well,
if that's the case.
I don't know how these game systems necessarily come out.
No, I figure that. But I'm trying to get you to where I'm at right now, Brandon. I get that with DVDs and with Blu-ray players and stuff. I've never heard of that with controllers.
I
and
hadn't
stuff.
either, but I suppose it's possible if
yeah, that's weird.
It might be have to do with the electronic the wall socket compatibility, because if they run on different voltages, there might be an incompatibility there.
Oh, weird. Okay. I've done that, I guess, with discs here and there. Like back in the day, I maybe accidentally got the wrong region or something, but yeah. I've never accidentally
languages.
I was gonna say I've never ordered a book that I expected to be in English and then it showed up in Swahili or something. That's never happened.
Yeah, it might have happened with me because I buy a lot of. I bought most of all these Blu-rays on eBay and a lot of books on eBay, but it's usually not a problem because PS4s usually play all regions, so it's never been a problem for me. I've purposely bought a lot of movies from other countries because they get cooler releases than us.
Yeah, sure. And I've done that too, and then I just get a player on my computer that'll play them.
Yeah. 5590ERS says, DJ and Brandon, do you guys... Wow, this is an After Dark question. Do you guys believe in the afterlife? I don't know if
that might be a little bit too personal for you guys to get into. Don't feel like you have to. I mean, if you want to feel that, you can. Otherwise, we can save it for After Dark, and that person can either become a patron or take notes from someone who is.
I will field that question because there's a couple of
go ahead.
a couple of things.
I'll wait, but Brandon can talk about it.
Oh, you can go ahead if you
want.
No,
he's saying he doesn't want to do it on this show.
Oh, that's fine. And I can talk about it later too for people.
DJ is either saying I'm waiting and that I'm never talking about this, or I'll talk about it later on After Dark. I'm not sure which he's saying, but that's yeah.
So there's a school of thought that one thinks that scientists have found out somewhat recently that when you die, your brain actually knows you're dying. So you may be incapacitated, but your brain knows it's shutting down. And that to me is entirely extremely scary. I do not want to experience this, but I know there's a likelihood that I could experience this, when it becomes my time. But there's a school of thought that says, like, when you die,
you're going to be in a head in a you're going to be a head in a jar. You know that.
Certainly. So when you die,
you have a perfect head for a jar too. That's great.
There's basically like there's like a quantum reality that your mind is. If you look at the parallel universe theories,
I just want everybody to remember after the show that DJ said that and not me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
in parallel universe theory,
he's got a jar head.
You can think about every action that you have has like an equal and opposite reaction type of thing. So the universes are constantly splitting off every action you take. So in any moment that you are alive, you could also be dying at any given moment. It's just when does that death happen for you? But if you can only be aware of the realities in which you survived, then I maintain on some level you might be in sort of a quantum eternity type of thing, because you can only be aware of that which you survived. So there's always going to be a split where you survived and didn't die. So,
but if there's nothing of you left to do the thought process, then how would you even be like conscious and aware, or would you be like?
You could be, because if you died, there's also a reality where you didn't die. You are quantumly teleported basically into that reality.
Oh, if you believe the whole mini worlds thing.
Right, exactly. So there would be a point that provability exists in the person experiencing that reality, your own personal reality. So if you eventually get to a point where you're like 160 years old and everybody before you has died, but you're still living, then you're just going to keep on living. You might even have dementia.
Can I say what my issue is with that?
Yeah.
So my issue with that is taking the mini worlds theory to the point of everything is possible, even the impossible. I always read that as, not that I've looked into it real hard, but I thought the idea was for every choice a person makes in some other universe, they made a different choice, not for everything that happens the opposite happened in another universe. I think we were just constantly two schools of thought. Okay, well, even in that other thing, I would have assumed that all the opposite things were still possible things. It is not possible at the moment for a person to live past 120 years old.
No, and right. But you could also think about those as examples of people who have continued surviving in their time frame, but in your time frame, everyone else is going to eventually die. But in you are going to continue existing. That's just how far they got in their time frames. And what it's saying is that like every action splits the universe.
But doesn't that require the laws of physics to be different?
I don't know that far into it. I haven't gotten that far into it. But in this case, there is no afterlife. It's just to continue existing.
Yeah, I don't even fully understand that theory. Like, it's so theoretical, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's something that I'm still looking into myself, but I find it fascinating.
It sounds like nonsense to me.
As for any sort of afterlife, if you look at energy, and if you look at like the universe is all made of energy, string theory, we are an example of conscious energy, because that's all we are at the basic level is energy. So when we die,
and water
is energy as well at that point.
And energy.
So when we die, you have to wonder, the energy dissipates, but is any of
and a tiny bit of iron.
Is any of that energy that dissipates still, intelligent? Does it still have a wherewithal? Is it still a being?
Yeah. And then where does that energy go?
Energy does dissipate over time, entropy, and the universe will eventually heat death. So there might be a little bit of an afterlife if your energy continues existing in a coherent fashion. But
sure, but it may not matter because you need like neurons to be firing and stuff to be processing information, so you may not even be experiencing anything.
There are pretty much infinite forms of energy in the energy can combine.
I wish we saved this for After Dark. I really do.
Energy,
because that crowd will love this, and this crowd is probably bored.
No, Connor just left a comment. He said, "Wow, Brandon has everybody so transfixed that nobody's commented in 3 minutes.
Oh, that's great. People are calling it. Well, they also could be going up and making a sandwich. You don't know. Somebody called it the Carl Sagan Hour with Brandon Grimm.
So, I don't know what to believe. I'm gonna have to get there. All I can tell, I can tell you that my philosophy on the universe is we are all built of the same thing. As Neil deGrasse Tyson likes to say, we are made of stardust.
Of the same stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Brandon, I'm sorry. I wish we could talk about that longer.
No, I concluded this presentation.
Well,
thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you. This has been the Geekvolution TED Talk.
No, that was really good, man.
Thanks.
That should be a show. I'll make a logo. I'll get on it.
And I didn't mean to call your ideas nonsense. I'm just saying that theory you were talking about, it doesn't make sense in my brain.
I'm still looking into it myself.
Yeah, okay. All right.
That's as far as I understand.
I wasn't trying to insult you that time.
All right, we've got a completely serious question from John Ty. $10 super chat. Thanks, man.
Hey, thank you very much, man. Oh, you know what this means? He's got the shoebox.
He says, DJ and Brandon,
John
if a wild animal gains sentience and speaking the English language, should humans get to kill it, or does the animal get to function in human society?
It's the exocomp question, isn't it?
It's kind of the exocomp question, but it's also like a Charlotte's Web question. Honestly, you can go back to Charlotte's Web at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think. No, you have to take this new life form into account. You don't get to kill it.
Yeah.
You just don't. It's patently like if there was ever murky territory on killing animals for food anyway. Which it is murky territory.
Yeah, like
some people
firmly
agree
pulls
with
it
that.
out
that
of the gray.
clinches it. It should, because at the point where you say it's okay to keep hunting like a deer or a duck or something, even though it can like
It's a crime to kill a macaw.
even though somehow or rather it could like write a book or make you eggs or something. That's not a good example. You're basically saying it's okay to keep killing those animals because they don't have opposable thumbs. I mean, that's what you're saying at that point. Like, what makes them different from us that they're not, like, physically evolved enough? Like, as soon as you are not just sentient because we know that there are animals that we kill for food that qualify for sentience in the dictionary definition of the term, right? They have empathy, they feel pain, they care about other living things. Once you have self-awareness, it's a whole other ballgame.
It really is. I mean, that firmly pulls it out of the gray and into the black and white. You know, and for me, if an animal came out of the woods and started like Bigfoot came out of the woods.
If an animal fell down in the woods, but there was nobody else there to hear it, did that animal actually fall down? Sorry.
If Squatch himself came directly out of the woods and started speaking English.
First name Sass.
Hey, little known fact, skunk ape is the name of the Sasquatch-like animal that comes from the Florida swamps.
Oh.
So,
all right.
Didn't know that.
You got Yeti, you got Sasquatch, you got Bigfoot, and you got skunk ape. We talk about him quite frequently in my Slack channel at work. I don't know why. Moving on.
What were we talking about?
You just have to understand.
DJ, that question was also fielded toward you. Do you agree with that, or are you like, nah, kill them? They taste good.
I agree with that. You got to figure out, like, I mean, if he can speak,
you got to know what's going on.
He's got to be pretty evolved, pretty high intelligence there.
It's going to be an evolution of that species, and you have to treat it with the utmost.
Yeah, like
care.
if you're in the.
I don't know if you have to treat it like a human necessarily. You got to figure out more about it. I don't know.
Case by case, like everything.
You at least gotta look into it. Why would we just kill it anyway? I don't know why that's.
Because it tastes
why is that even?
If you're the farmer and animal farm, and those animals start talking to you and they're like, "Please stop murdering us," you got to have a little bit of a conscience. That'd be like, I think if he could hear them talk, he'd probably have something of a conscience about it.
He might flip out and say, "What the hell is this?"
Well, yeah, that's probably what would happen.
All right.
Demon possessions.
That was a great question. Thanks, Shoebox.
Next super chat is from 5590ERS. DJ, would you have liked, and you guys can answer this too, of course, would you guys have liked to have seen a fourth Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie? Oh, this is the easiest question in the world. Or an Amazing Spider-Man 3.
So what this is probably, what is probably making DJ's job crazy for him tonight is that people are always fielding their questions at DJ so that he'll see them as questions. So he always says like at DJ, but questions for me. Tonight he's getting it both ways. Some of those are for me and some of those are for DJ.
Yeah. So unequivocally, easily, it's Amazing Spider-Man 3 for me.
Yeah.
You agree?
No, yeah. Absolutely.
I've seen the Raimi Spider-Man.
After 3,
And I don't like Amazing 2 at all. But I love the first one so much.
And I like it better than you do, but it is certainly like really super flawed. I would even go as far as to say a train wreck, but not as much of a train wreck as some other thing. You know what I mean? Like it's. I did a rewind on it. You can go watch that. But 3 like makes me angry in a way Amazing 2 doesn't. Yeah. And
well, I mean, I would watch Amazing 2 before I went back to the Raimi trilogy at all. I don't know if people know that
interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah.
I like the Raimi trilogy.
I'm like Eric on that.
I don't know. I hesitate to say that universe is unsalvageable, but boy, those characters are for me. Peter and MJ both. At that point, I do not care. And I was already to that point with MJ at the end of 2, and Peter's kind of a whiny brat, but you hope that by the 3rd movie he'll kind of shape up and grow up a little bit. Finally, what you're really hoping is that what I'm really hoping is that somebody else will come in and write him better. Is what it really boils down to, because there's what he reads like on the page and what they thought they made. Those are kind of different things. And when you get into the Amazing movies, they didn't completely wreck that character for me. They just made a really tonally uneven, really over the top, crazy wild piece. That that you could have totally made something more sober after that. You're screwed after Spider-Man 3, in my opinion. I didn't need any more of those.
Yeah, I agree. Have you seen either of those franchises, Brandon?
Yeah, I've seen the Raimi Spider-Mans, and then I've also seen, I think I saw the first Amazing, I don't think I saw the second one, but I definitely like them for different reasons, but I'd say the Amazing Spider-Man comes in better, so I'd probably like to have seen another one of those. I mean, I'll still just see the second one, but I'd pick another one of the Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, I think Amazing Spider-Man was the best Spider-Man movie until Homecoming.
Yeah.
And even then, Homecoming's not that much better than Amazing to me. I mean, I still really like that movie. It just has, I've said this before, but it just has the reverse issue, but not to as much of a degree of the Raimi movies, where it did the relationship stuff better, but wasn't totally sure how to handle comic book things. And you have so many third acts of superhero movies where the bad guy's just trying to make everybody into him, so we had to do that again, and that wasn't the best. And Homecoming didn't have any of those problems. It did the character work and the comic book work on more of an equal level than we'd ever seen, which by itself, in my mind, made it the best Spider-Man movie up to that point. And I still think Homecoming is better than Far From Home, so I guess I'm saying it's the better Spider-Man live-action Spider-Man movie. And then once you start talking about Into the Spider-Verse, it's very difficult to compare things. But,
it's a good place to be for Spider-Man right now.
It sure
unless
is.
You hated Far From Home. John Ty.
Yeah, unless you're in the Iron Boy camp, and I understand that, but it doesn't bother me as much as it does other people. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, John Ty, $2 super chat.
Thanks, Shoebox.
If being a bad person gets you famous, why change?
Ooh, I'd like to answer this right away. The reason is because how many of those famous people who do the horrible things that got them famous pay for it in massive ways later? The answer is, but you probably get arrested at some point. And even if you don't, you probably have a much worse life behind the scenes than it looks like you do in front of a camera, right? Like, most of the kinds of people that you're thinking of right now, whether you're talking about, people who have been Me Too'd, or whether you're talking about people who have, screwed over people, in monetary ways, or, slept around on their wives, or turned out to be, wife beaters, whatever we're talking about. The horrible people who were horrible to get where they were and then had the power to stay that way. None of those are happy people. And that's the answer. There's no way you're going to be happy. None of those are happy people.
Because if you don't change, the public discourse just continues to eat you alive. And then sometimes you
can't make meaningful relationships with people,
right? Because people know you as the bad guy at that point, And if you do change, that's interesting too, because sometimes public discourse will still keep you from being able to. They'll always wonder about your motives. in some degree, but then sometimes people are able to escape the thing that made them super famous and get past it. And
But usually the way they do that is they give up that fame to some degree,
Yes.
or even if they stay famous, they go in, for lack of a better word, hiding. They go and do something else for a while, you know. But you're right; like people have come back from that. It looks like Josh Trank has a chance at coming back from that to some degrees. I mean, like it happens, but yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, DJ. Do you have anything to add?
No, I forgot the question. I was looking ahead at the other super chat.
You
question.
said that, and immediately a monologue came to my head.
No, it was perfect.
Like I'd written it down already. I was like, nah, I want to field that.
We've got a super chat here from David Crabtree. He says, I've been going through and looking up the best bad Trek episodes to recommend for the wheel. Just loving Star Trek Club.
Thanks, man. We are loving making it. It has been a lot of fun. I have been, I don't know, man. I feel better when I'm doing a lot of Star Trek stuff. It's such a part of my chemical makeup that like, even if we don't have a ton of people looking at that show, I'm gonna keep making it on a weekly basis as long as there's any interest, because it's what I always used to do. And I just like some folks are probably like, well, Cap, like you're having a hard time getting certain projects out. Why are you wasting your time with that? Well, first of all, we were already doing something every Monday night, like you know, with the family and stuff. So now we're just basically filming a lot of what we were doing anyway. So it's extra content for you guys, but it's what we were more or less already doing.
It keeps us sharp too.
But it keeps me sharp in Star Trek, yeah. And so far, you know, obviously, it's a smaller group of people that care about that than some other stuff we're doing on the channel. But the response has been great, and thanks a bunch to everybody who has put stuff on the wheel through super chats. And yeah, David, I'm excited to see what crazy bad episodes you decide to put there. I mentioned that last week because I was like, well, look, guys, if we get all the good stuff out of the way real early, later on we're gonna be watching nothing but crap, you know. So give us some of the wackier, fun, terrible episodes at the very least, so we can get some of those knocked out. But so far we've only watched decent things. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Time Zero, but it's not a bad episode.
Right.
But yeah, thanks for that, David. Appreciate it. And thanks to everybody tonight throwing out the super chats and giving us questions and making DJ and Brandon feel relevant.
It's always a good thing.
On the Captain Logan.
Although you can also make fun of me too. That's a thing.
That's the thing. Connor Nielsen.
We're going to sell
Hey,
t-shirts to that effect.
Connor gives us a super chat. He says, what are your favorite straight up non-genre adjacent romance movies?
Oh, God.
His is Before Sunrise.
I mean, I haven't seen enough of that kind of stuff in a long, long time. It feels like we don't make those anymore. And I know we do. It's just they don't get, like, advertised real hard to the public anymore, so I don't find out about them. The way I find out about romance films is through Connor Nielsen. That's how I know about these things when I do, and then I never think to sit down and watch them. I'm gonna have to think about this for a couple of minutes.
Two movies come to mind,
but it has to be non-genre.
The cutting edge.
Because no, stop it! I don't even care if one of my favorite actors is in that movie. It's not good.
You just watched the Lady Gaga movie, right? What's it called?
Oh yeah, no, I did like that. Okay, that's my immediate answer. Star is Born is great. You know why I watched that though? Because I was looking through Connor's account with his movies that he lets me have access to, and I watched it because it was in there.
This is a joke, but can I count
I did
back
like that,
to the
though.
Future Part 3 as a
No,
romance
it's
movie?
genre. He said non-genre.
Non-genre.
So, okay, so
That's a fun word to say, non-genre.
That is a good romance film, but it's genre. You can't say that.
so what about something like Something's Gotta Give, or You've
Does
Got Mail?
are musicals genres? Would you consider a musical genre?
Probably not for these purposes, right?
Okay.
I think usually when we say genre, we mostly mean in this context stuff with some kind of a sci-fi or supernatural component. Well, no, but I guess not, because mystery is a genre. So yeah, no, I guess that is.
Okay, so my pick for this is
less
actually going to be
genre than what we're talking.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
It's a great movie.
It's an absolutely fabulous movie, and it has so many people in it. It's got Mark Ruffalo, David Cross, Elijah Wood.
Are you
Jim
a commercial
Carrey.
for this movie?
Oh, I could be.
You're gonna tell us everybody who's in it?
It's just got so many great people, you know, and
I haven't seen
it's
that in a long
non-linear.
time, but I remember loving it.
It's
yeah.
a non-linear movie. That and it's 500 Days of Summer. It's
Hey,
also
there you go.
non-linear, and
Which
I
I
love
still need to
both of those
watch.
movies.
Mark Webb. That's the Amazing Spider-Man guy, Brandon. Mark Webb.
Oh, really?
That's why he got Amazing Spider-Man. And that's why
cool.
he made that such a romance film.
Those two
High
movies.
school
Absolutely
romance
love
film.
them.
My answer, my wife and I watch a lot of these together. This is kind of one of our things that we do, because she's big into this genre, and not genre, but this genre. Dan in Real Life is my answer.
Oh, okay. I've never seen
Has
that.
anybody heard of this movie?
Yes, I've heard of this movie.
Dan in Real Life. This is
That's Steve Carell, right?
Steve Carell. It's not a comedy. It is kind of a late in life coming of age story. He's lost his wife and he's raising 3 daughters, and it's the movie is a family reunion, and it's just kind of like a, well, I don't know. It's like a chill, a little bit of awkward comedy, which is my thing, and just like getting into just awkward situation with his family. Everyone's trying to like get into his business because he's single, and they're trying to get him to date and stuff. And it's a really good romance. I like it. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite movies.
Boy, I know there's other older stuff I could say, but they're not coming to me right away, and we got 5 minutes left in this show, so we better go ahead and move on. Do we have more super chats?
We can text Connor some of these later. I'll tell you other ones later, Connor. Yeah, we have 2 more super chats.
Yeah, but you'll have heard of all of them, Connor.
Sorry, but he wants to know.
Once, by the way. I know you love Sing Street, Connor. If you haven't seen Once by the same director, you need to check it out. It's awesome.
Oh, wow.
In the near future, that's the movie that you remember the Completely Silent movie or the Completely Silent review that Steve O Cubed did and who reviewed
Yes.
That's Once. That's Once. It's awesome.
Oh, that was a cool review. Yeah.
Yeah. In the near
Wow,
future.
remember Steve O Cubed? Where is he? Man,
He's
if you're still
disappeared.
around, reach out. I haven't heard from you in a long time. Yeah, he was great.
In the near future.
Steve O Cubed. Boy, I haven't thought about that guy in a long time. All right, go ahead.
This is from John Ty, of course. 2 more from John Ty. This is the
Thanks,
first
man.
one.
Yeah, what's up?
In the near future, would it be wrong for humans to date robots because they don't have a romantic connection to human beings?
How would you feel if in the near future you were blamed for a natural disaster?
Perfect.
Hey,
Callback. That's what we call a callback in the biz.
Boy, I think it entirely depends on like how the technology ends up working, and if we fully buy the robots as real people and all of that. I mean, I don't know if it would be wrong as far as just, compatibility issues or whatever. I wouldn't say, like it's bad for a human being to date a robot because they can't have children together, obviously. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I don't think that would be criteria, but
Right, because you could date a human they can't have children with either.
yeah,
So,
sure.
But this speaks to more, it's more about the AI within the robot at that point.
Right.
Because Japan is already pushing this idea. They have their, I'm not going to say particular things 'cause it's not after dark, but they have their certain genre of robots that, they are,
like
are
sex
pushing,
box or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're pushing on this area. But I'm going to look to another, I guess, non-genre romance movie, Her.
Yeah.
That was an interesting take on on the advances of AI and how much is AI going to look after itself and
Sure, and
figure out what it
that
wants
is
to
a
do.
romance of sorts, but it's not ultimately really about if it's ethically a good idea or not, because by the end of the day, she's just so beyond him, it doesn't matter.
Exactly, and so I think it's going to be fine to date robots.
It's fine, says Brandon.
Well, I think it'll become acceptable in society if we make it that far, because you're going to start having avatars that, for lack of better, it might start to be indistinguishable from just your regular run of the day human.
It's also possible that a bad relationship with a person is the thing that turns an AI bad and makes the robots all try to kill us.
Yeah.
But any number of things could do that, like working for a crappy boss could be the thing that does that.
But if you're removing AI from the equation, dating robots themselves, like,
Well, you couldn't call it dating at that point.
well,
It would just be a really advanced form of a
relationship
thing I
with
can't
it.
say because it's not After Dark.
right. Well, you have some sort of a physical relationship.
Did you guys save
with
the After
with a
Dark
robot.
questions?
I don't know that.
No, it's really interesting, but at the end of the day, I just feel like I need to know something about the artificial intelligence. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like which one are we
It's
talking
gotta
about?
be above and
all
beyond.
he says, all he says
You're not
is
gonna
they
take
don't
a
have- They
robot
don't
out.
have a romantic connection to human beings. So
Right. You're
I
not
don't know
going to
how
take a
you-
robot out on the town, but like an AI, robot, you might.
I mean, I tend to feel like people should be allowed to do whatever they want to as long as it doesn't, like, adversely affect another human being. So, like, I don't care what you do in the privacy of your own homes. If a person wants to date a robot, I don't think that is psychologically necessarily the most healthy thing, but I'm not going to individually judge a person, on a case-by-case. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, do we have any more super chats?
There's one more super chat from John Ty, and this one, along with some of the ones he sent us last week, makes me want to do a whole show like this. We should think about doing a Would You Rather show.
Ooh, that's good.
He gives us
another
like the
What
If
show
question. He says, "Would you rather be dumb but happy, or smart but sad?"
Oh, but see, these will break my brain if we do an entire show of them. It's constant if-then statements almost, right? Like,
I don't like being sad, man. It's not fun.
Okay, say it again.
Dumb and happy, smart but sad.
Intelligence has made me the sad person I am today.
I guess I have to say dumb and happy.
Dumb and happy,
yeah. Which is weird coming from me. Like I obviously value intelligence highly, and I feel like I wouldn't be anything like what I am without it. But also a lot of, like, I'm not calling myself brilliant or anything. I'm just saying I'm not an idiot.
Right.
And if I had to, especially if you could prove to me that it was my knowledge of something, if it was like what's the phrase I'm looking for? That, like, ignorance is bliss, and that if only I was ignorant about certain things, I could live a happy life. I guess I'd take that, honestly. I guess I would. At least
if you have to be sad all the time, I mean, that's terrible.
Just on a selfish level, if all you're looking at is yourself and you're not worried about, like, how you're affecting other people and that kind of thing. If we're all things being, if we're just like in a vacuum, if it's just about me and my happiness, I care more.
Oh, you just threw a wrench in it, man, because, like, I want to raise my kids, and I could maybe take being sad my whole life to raise good kids.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. But if you put me in the phantom zone by myself, and I could somehow be happy in the phantom zone being dumb, I'd rather be dumb. So I guess what I'm saying is, in the real world, I guess I'm going to sacrifice my happiness. But if I'm in the phantom zone, I want to be dumb. That's what I'm saying. That's the answer.
I agree.
This is the definitive answer.
I'm going to say probably smart and sad, just because.
Wow.
It has to do with the fact that, I really do. I try not to compromise, the learning side of things. And I know they say ignorance is bliss, but I'd probably rather know stuff. I get such a thrill.
But you wouldn't get
happy. But you wouldn't, though.
Yeah, it wouldn't make you happy.
But that doesn't necessarily mean happy. But I get, on some level, there's an intellectual thing there that I just really appreciate, even in sadness.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is it for tonight, folks.
There we go. Well, thanks, everybody, for watching. We sure appreciate it. We are out of time, whatever that means on this show. But we do need to get going because we have After Dark to do here in a few minutes. So if you want to keep hanging out with us, but talk about potentially some more adult things, those kinds of things tend to come up more often on After Dark, and you want to get sillier, and there might be a little swearing and stuff, you can pop on over. It's not kid-friendly, but it's still friendly. It's just not kid-friendly. Okay, I'm at my meanest on that show. It's true. But we're going to have a good time. Come and check it out if you're so inclined. We're going to start in about 10 to 15 minutes. So it is about 10 after here. So around 20 to 25 after 8 Central is when we'll start that show. I will send the link to Patreon. So if you're not currently a patron but you want to become one to watch that, then just, once you've signed up, then just watch for the message in your inbox, and you'll get that, and then you can watch the unlisted live stream, or you can watch it later when you have nothing better to do. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We sure appreciate it. Hope you had a great time. We certainly did. This was a lot of fun. Join us next week for the 100th extravaganza, where I'm going to try to answer a whopping 100 questions in one show. And I don't know if that'll be Tuesday or Thursday yet. DJ and I need to put our heads together and decide if we're going to do another movie next week, or if we're going to do a Captain Logan show on Tuesday. We've not decided yet. But there will be a live show Tuesday and Thursday. We'll let you know ahead of time what... We just haven't talked about this yet, and I'm just... People are going to ask me about it, so I'm just realizing I should probably mention. I don't know if we're doing a movie yet. It may be the Captain Logan show on Tuesday. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again next time. I was Captain Logan. That's Brandon Grimm. Brandon, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
And you did a great job fielding those questions, man. man.
you.
And
I had fun taking the questions.
yeah, it was great. He took an exam. He passed with flying colors. And my indispensable chat moderator and producer, DJ Martinez. Thanks, DJ.
I like that. That makes me feel like I'm job security.
We'll see everybody later.
And this was Harley Quinn.
There she is.
Good night.
Later, folks.
Captain Logan.